Hi there Booktube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm going to do the makeup book tag. Quite a few of you ask various things about my makeup in my videos, so I thought what better way to tell you a bit about the stuff that I use than to do this tag. So basically in this tag you get all the different types of makeup like primer and foundation, and there is a book question to go with it. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm having to film this on my iPad so I can't put the picture in the picture, I'm going to tell you what the question is, tell you the book, tell you the product I'm using, and then while I'm putting the product on, I will tell you a bit about the book that I've chosen. It'll make more sense when we get started. So the first one is Primer. And this is a book that made a lasting impression. Now, I've only got an arc of this and I have waxed lyrical about it on this channel, but it is Paper Butterflies by Lisa Heathfield. This is what the actual cover looks like. And for my actual primer for my makeup, it's something that I don't normally wear actually, but from my M&S Beauty Advent Calendar, I received a primer. And that is PUR Correcting Primer. So I got a little sort of testery size one, so I've been using this just to see if it makes a difference. So I'll just pop some on my fingers and rub it into my face. So the thing I love about Paper Butterflies is it just really tapped into my emotions. I think it was the last book that I read that I properly bawled like a baby, and although I occasionally have tears in my eyes and I cry a little bit sometimes, it's quite rare actually that I'll sit there and actually sob in a book, and during this book I really sobbed. We're following a girl and her mother's died and her father's remarried, and her stepmother and stepsister, especially her stepmother, cruelly abuse her both mentally and physically. And she's also struggling with things at school, she's struggling with bullying, and she meets a boy one day called Blister, and she becomes part of his family. She finds solace in spending time with him, and then we just follow how events unravel and just how things progress, and it was just really heartbreaking and moving. So that is my primer. So next up is Foundation, and it's your favourite first book in a series, and this is one I haven't spoken about much recently, but I have in previous times, and that is Fortune's Pawn by Rachel Bach. My foundation I use is L'Oreal's Infallible 24-Hour Matte in 11 Vanilla, and I've recently started using one of these brushes which are really cheap on Amazon. I think I got this for like £5. So I like to put a swirl of foundation on there and then just rub it in. So the thing that I loved about Fortune's Pawn is that it's just a great start to a series. We get to know the characters, we really get sort of stuck in straight away. It's not got a massive long drawn out build up. We move through the story relatively quickly, and I just really enjoyed how that was done. It was probably the first space opera book as well that I had read and really loved, and it was probably the one that got me buying and reading more like space opera type books, because I mean it makes sense really. I love a good romance novel, which space operas have lots of romance in, and I love a good adventure story and sci-fi and anything set in space. So really it's sort of a win-win with these types of books because you get all of those things in one. So I loved this one because the female character in it is really feisty, really sort of independent and stands up for herself, and I just really enjoyed that. Right, so that is my foundation. Next up is concealer, and that is a character you want to get rid of. I'll tell you that in a second. For my concealer, because I'm getting a bit older now, I've started using Maybelline's The Eraser Eye Instant Anti-Age Perfect and Cover Concealer in Light, which looks like this, and I just dab it under my eyes. And then to cover spots up, I've always used this and I really love it. It's Rimmel's Wake Me Up Anti-Fatigue Effect and Radiant Glow Concealer, and this is in 010 Ivory. And anywhere that I look like I've got some red patches, I just splash it all on. I've got a big spot on my nose at the moment. I'm not very good at where I put it, I just put it where I fancy. So for the character that I wish I could get rid of, I would go for D'Artagnan from the Three Musketeers. Unfortunately, I appear to be on the camp of not enjoying this one, and I really loved The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, but I really didn't enjoy the Three Musketeers for some reason, and a big part of that was I just found D'Artagnan to be just totally juvenile and ridiculous and selfish. I just didn't like his character at all. However, I suppose if you did get rid of him, then you would also be getting rid of the book, because he is sort of my main character in the book. Oh, look at that, covering up as best we can the big spot. Next up is powder, and that's favourite last book in a series, and for me that has to be Morning Star by Pierce Brown. For my powder I use 17 Miracle Matte Loose Powder Oil Free and just a little brush that I got with my M&S Beauty calendar. So Morning Star is the final book in the Red Rising trilogy, and I just absolutely loved this trilogy. It was fast paced, it had a really clever plot. It's not completely unusual, but it is unusual nowadays, considering how much I read, for me to be totally shocked by twists and turns in the story. And this really had me. I was not expecting some of the twists and turns in this story, so I really enjoyed that. Whew. Next is Eyebrows, and that is a book you think everybody should read, and for that I'm going for The Blue Door by Lise Christensen. And I don't really do anything to my eyebrows, I'm a bit rubbish, but I did just get a Pixie brow tamer in my M&S Beauty calendar, so I have been using that just to keep them a bit flatter. So I think everyone should read The Blue Door by Lise Christensen, because it's just really eye-opening into what people went through in the prisoner of war camps. This one's set in Java, and our main character, or you know, our writer, because this is a true story, Lise and her family just went through hell in Java in a prisoner of war camp, and it's just a look into that, and also the after effects, because it doesn't end when they came out of the camps. It has everlasting effects on people, and I just think it's something that everyone should read and be educated more on, because I'm certainly enjoying finding out more myself. Next up is Eyeshadow, and it's a book with your favourite colours on the front cover. And for me, this is a sneak peek into a future haul, and this is volume 2 of The Beauty. I'm obsessed with purple. I love purple, and this is just a wonderful cover. I just think it's really beautiful. So at the moment, the eyeshadow that I'm loving is Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in the colour Wattles, which is 6L04, and I just use this little sort of flat brush. Again, I don't really make much effort with my eyeshadows. I literally just shove it on and go. I'm not very good at sort of blending and shading, so I tend to be just a quick sort of over the eyes, and that's it. That's literally all I do. Next is going to be slightly more difficult, because it is my eyeliner, which is something that most people talk about, and this is bound to go wrong now I'm doing it on camera. And it's a dark and mysterious book, and for that I want to talk about Cressley Cole's Poison Princess. Now, the eyeliner that I use all the time, that I normally use, is Soap and Glory's Super Cat liner, which has this sort of felt tip end. And I still love this. But in my M&S Beauty calendar this year, I received this Eyeshadow Skinny Liquid Eyeliner in black. So I have been having a go with that. And as you can see, it's a very similar pen. So all I do for this is I sort of trace it with my finger and I try and get the line up, and then it's just a case of practice really. And I've always got a trusty cotton bud on hand just to clear up any messes. And the thing with the eyeliner is sometimes it will go exactly how you want and sometimes it won't, and you just have to fix it up as best you can. I'm sure mine is never even, it's just the best I can do. Next up is blush, and it's a cringe-worthy romance. Now I really love this Miss Sporty Morning Baby cream blush in Pink Flush. I'm really into like liquid, squeezy tubey blushes, but it's getting more and more of a struggle actually to find them, and I haven't been able to pick up this one again, so I haven't decided what I'm going to be doing next if I can't get any more of this. So I'm on the hunt, so if anybody has any tips for a creamy blush, let me know. For my cringeworthy romance, I would say anything in the Lucky Harbour series. I love this series, but they are cringeworthy romances. They're all gooey and sickly sweet and silly, but I just love it. It's a real pleasure to read them. So although they're cringy, I think they're perfect. Next up is Favourite Book Kiss for lipstick. And I am going to wear today my Colourpop Ultra Satin lipstick in Echo Park. I'm loving Colourpop lipsticks at the moment. What I really love about these is they don't tend to dry out your lips. And for my favourite kiss, again, I think it's going to have to be something in the Lucky Harbour series. They're all really sort of tension building and romantic, and I just love a good bit of kissing in books. And finally, it's mascara. And for this, you've got to pick a long book. The mascara I really like is Benefit Roller Lash. I just really love this one. This one's running out. I'll have to get a new one out soon. And for my long book, I want to talk about another Alexandre Dumas book, but one that I really, really loved, and that was The Count of Monte Cristo. I was put off this book by its size for such a long time, and then myself and Jackie, who is a subscriber and a friend, decided we were gonna try, it's really difficult to do this and talk, decided we were going to try and read it together as a buddy read, and we read a certain number of pages a day. We did it last year, and it was such a readable book. It wasn't nearly as intimidating as I thought it was going to be. The story is excellent, it's very readable, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking to try a longer book or you've been put off of it. It's definitely worth a read. So that's it, that's how I do my makeup. And then finally, the last thing that I've really got into is L'Oreal's Infallible Pro Spray and Set. and I just give that a couple of pumps over my face. It's sort of damp and it dries, and it's kind of like hairspray for your face. So it's not sticky like hairspray, but it just sets all the makeup in place, and I have found that my makeup will stay on longer when I use this. So this is a handy little thing. Well, I am totally in awe of all beauty vloggers now, because that was incredibly hard to do, and who knows how this is going to turn out. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's given you a little bit of an insight into how I do my makeup, and given you a few books maybe to check out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now, Booktube.